Hey everyone, hello and welcome, Tony Bing here. For this test centre video I'll be having a look at Squirrel Girl. This has been requested by Dragon and Tiger on the official forums. Now, having a quick look over her kit, it looks like she's got quite a few changes in her actual skills, and then when we come to the talents, they really are quite interesting, and I imagine once she does go live, I never thought I would say this, but I imagine once she does go live I'll certainly be checking her out and giving her a good little playthrough, maybe go a couple of prestiges with her as well. But let's look at the first section. This is a melee section and it's called Let's Fight. So with this section, from what I can see, I believe that possibly we've got one new skill, and also one of our skills has been modified quite heavily, but let's look at them just in the order we normally do. We'll work our way down. So we start off with Claw Kick, which is your basic melee attack, and it restores spirit, only one in hit, which really isn't much at all. Attack speed is 3 per second though. And then we have Forest Walk, which is our dash. She's just got the normal cooldown of 4 seconds and max charges of 3. She then has Squirrel Twirl. This will knock down and bleed enemies. Now this skill Nutcracker looks different from live. It'll knock down enemies, but it's now got the fact that the first kick does a critical hit chance and the second kick to the nuts does brutal strike chance 100%, so that's interesting there. And then we have Savage Swipe, which is your main spender, and that's a melee claw attack, and it does 3% damage for each summoned squirrel that you actually have. And then we have Dive Bomb. That just looks the same as live as far as I'm aware. It's got a slow and a weaken there, and actually does a bonus to bleeding enemies. And then we have Don't Look Now, which is almost like a barrage attack, and that's got a 6-second cooldown. And then finishing up, I'm pretty sure this is new, it's Baffling Dialogue. I'll activate it because fingers crossed she'll actually say something really silly. If she doesn't, then it's a huge missed opportunity. But this confuses enemies for 6 seconds and they do damage, so this will be nice for builds where you're maybe running Summoner and you're wanting to keep the enemies off you. If your squirrels aren't kind of doing enough damage and pulling them away, then just initiate this and fall back and send your squirrels in again. Let's see if it does actually make any kind of noise. And it doesn't. It's a real missed opportunity. You have the likes of Spider-Man that has his taunt about his quips and they don't say anything, and it's one line of dialogue is all those moves would actually need. Although saying that, if you were spamming every 6 seconds, one line of dialogue could get a bit kind of grating after a while. But let's look at the next section, which is probably the one people are more familiar with, which is squirrels. Now first off, in the squirrels tree we start off with Dire Squirrel. So this is your basic attack, and like the basic claw attack, this will restore 1 spirit on hit. Also has Pierce as well, so projectiles pass through enemies. And next up we have Sick'em. This is kind of the same skill as live, but you'll notice it's missing some of the effects it had on live, but when we do discuss the talents we can thankfully gain them back. And then we have Squirrel Apocalypse. So this is your spammable kind of squirrel attack where you'll throw them out and they do bleed as well as vulnerability. And then you have Auto Fire Acorns, just operates the same way it would on live, using all your spirit, that is. I've always struggled. I would love to kind of have a build where I could run and use that all the time. Maybe with Infinity I can, but yeah, it really does eat through the spirit, that particular move. Now next up we have Squirrel Saboteurs. These have changed and they're now on charges, and once we look at the talents you can change the number of charges you have on them. I'll pull it down so you can see. So you get 6 different charges on them there. When you do fire them off, if I remember correctly, let's see. Yeah, when you fire them off it uses all the charges at once, and then the charges all generate up separately there. And then we have Squirrel Presence. So with this it's physical damage, the power is increased by effects that grant bonuses to summoned allies. And then we have Acorn Artillery. So with this it's a bonus of 3% for each summoned squirrel there, so that would fit in nice with your summon builds. And then finally we've got a new signature. This one's fantastic, I love it. It's Raining Rodents, so we've got rid of the silly Iron Man squirrels, although if you did like them you can gain them back through talents, which is good. That's what we want to see. If any skills are removed, rather than taking them out altogether, wasting the animation, put them in as a talent, and then if someone likes them they can choose them, if they don't they can choose something else. Perfect solution. So let's have a look at this anyway. It's Raining Rodents, physical damage and a slow. The duration is 7.9 seconds, cooldown of 20. So let's call these in. There we go. Absolutely love that. This looks very similar to our ult actually. There we go. They're great. Really do like that. I remember the first time I used an ult which is similar to this on a sentinel, and it just looked hilarious taking down this big huge sentinel with all these squirrels flying from the sky. So the fact we've got it in a signature is absolutely brilliant. But let's look at the next section anyway, talents and traits, and there's quite a lot of nice things in here. Now before we look at the talents, we'll look at the offensive and defensive traits first. So for the offensive trait you have Squirrel Cunning. It gives you critical hit damage bonus, the archetype is Strategist, and you have a bonus to fighting and strength attributes. For the defensive trait we have Squirrel Cunning, so it's health and hit, the archetype is Nimble, so you gain a multiplier to deflect and dodge, and you also have that 8% damage reduction on melee powers as well. So now for the talents, these really are good. I do like these, they add a whole lot of variety. So first off we've got Twirling Tail. So Twirling Tail gains the following effects. It gains damage, charges and a cooldown. If Squirrel Twirl is activated 3 times within 3 seconds, becomes squirrely, and the buff effect is squirrely, which gives you a 20% flat dodge chance with a duration of 6 seconds there. So that's for your melee builds. And then we have Sneaky Squirrel Specialist. So Squirrel Saboteurs gains the following effects. Max charges 6, we'll actually activate it there, and then we'll fire them off in a second so you can see them. So max charge is 6 and the cooldown is 0.5, minus 0.5 seconds. And then we have Hulkbuster Squirrels. So with this, Squirrel Presence transforms into Hulkbuster Squirrels Engage, and Hulkbuster Squirrels Engage causes all active squirrel friends to don extremis powered squirrel sized Hulkbuster suits. This is a bit of a mouthful. Then fly head first into enemies. But let me show you all these here, the Squirrel Saboteurs. There we go, see how 12 of them running in there. And then we'll actually activate this, so you can see you've got this as well, all the Hulkbuster ones. Then we'll fire off some of our squirrels actually, and then we'll activate that. So there we go, we can see our squirrels building up. We've got the full 15, we'll now hit this, and there you go. Pretty nice. Good to see that the Squirrel Runner being completely dumped has just been moved somewhere else for you to use if you do like it. So for the next tree we have Light the Beacon, and with this, Sikkim now summons all your squirrel friends, and the damage on Go for the Throat is increased by 100%, and the cooldown goes up by 4 seconds. You then have Girl's Best Friend. So this is summoned ally. You can summon Tippy Toe permanently, and she also casts Inspire. So we'll click this. I should actually have 2 Tippy Toes because I believe I've got one already from the unique I'm wearing. There we go. So that's good there. We've got something else kind of along that kind of line in the next talent line we'll look at, so we'll even activate them both at the same time once I do get to it. But next up we have Infectious and Excitement. So Dire Squirrel transforms into Excited Squirrel. Excited Squirrel bounces to enemies struck instead of piercing, and you gain a 5% chance to use Death from the Trees when you hit with a power. So we'll do this. Here we can see it's now Excited Squirrel. So we'll go over here, and then in a moment we should see that Death from the Trees. There we go. Doesn't seem to last very long. I don't know if that's a bit of a bug. It does seem to only be like a second at most. So for the next line we have Swell the Scurry. So squirrel friends even, can call up to 5 more squirrels, so that would be 20 in total. Baffling Dialogue bonus effect is summon minion stats got up by 100%, and duration is 10 seconds. The cooldown is increased by 6 seconds, so that brings it up to 10 second duration, 10 second cooldown. So if you're running a summon build, it looks like it's going to be vital to really have that there. And then next up we have for Monkey Joe, which is command your squirrel friends to stay home away from the dangers of battle. So this is if you want to avoid the squirrel build and go maybe just for the melee, you can certainly do that, and you gain a 5% critical hit chance and 5% brutal strike chance. And then finally you have Squirrel Special Forces. So Mr. Freckle, Nutso and Slippy Pete, some names them, they are now permanent allies who deal twice the normal squirrel damage and always deal critical hits. So let's click this and we can see them along with Tippy Toe. So there we go. That's pretty good, having them out all the time. So next up we now have, we'll put these away anyway, but next up we now have Pick 'em Apart. So Auto Fire Acorns always has its maximum possible rate of fire, and Sikkim makes enemies more vulnerable to your summoned squirrel allies and squirrel powers. You can see that there, 20% extra damage from squirrel powers. And then we have 3 hugs, so it's raining rodents. That's your new signature. Cooldown comes down by 5 seconds, and it instantly resets the cooldown of your other powers and fully restores Squirrel Sabotage charges. So that could work with the one where you've got the 12 charges there. And then finally you have Seeing Red, which buffs your claws. So claw powers apply bleed out, and Nutcracker damage goes up by 40% against bleeding enemies, and dive bomb damage goes up by the same amount in there. Now for the final talent line we have Fell the Tree. So Nutcracker gains the following effects: damage goes up by 50%, cooldown increased by 2 seconds, but it gains an execute. Now given we discussed the fact this skill has the 100% chance to crit, 100% chance to brute, having an execute on it as well really could make it quite powerful, so it could be nice. And for the next skill we have Squirrel Stampede. So Squirrel Apocalypse gains the following effects: projectiles go up by 2, total damage 100, cooldown 8 seconds. I'll show you that, I've got it here on my bar. There we go. Quite good if you want to make it into damage there rather than a spammable one. And then we have Heavy Shelling. So Acorn Artillery drops 2 additional acorns at the target location. After using Acorn Artillery, your next Nutcracker deals 75% more damage if activated within 4 seconds. So we'll fire the acorns off. Quite a nice animation on them there. So overall, really good. I'm much more interested in this iteration of it than I am in the version that's on live at the moment. I was saying that I done a run a few weeks ago of the Cadeliest terminal, the Cosmic Collide one I believe it's called, with Squirrel Girl, and I actually really enjoyed it. So I think when she does go live I'll definitely check her out. Now before we do go, a nice little funny bit just at the end here. If we look at her sprint, we'll kind of activate this. I really do like it. The charge up is kind of good as well, as much as people hate charge up powers. There we go, crouches down, and there we go, surfing away on a big line of squirrels. Absolutely brilliant, excellent. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all again soon.